Yeah, we came too far. In the darkest days, don't know where we are or who we are. Yeah, we came too far. In the darkest days, don't know where we are or who we are. Yeah, we came too far. In the darkest days, don't know where we are or who we are. Yeah, we came too far. In the darkest days.
Alright, what up y'all? Planet of the Fakes and Pigstar HH News here. We got the interrogating of ex-officer Tao. If you don't know who Tao is, that is the brother of Derek Chauvin's wife and the cop that was on the scene during the George Floyd. I think he had just became a cop. No, the other guy just became a cop. This guy graduated the academy in 2009, I believe. He went to college in 2008, and roughly he's telling what happened. It's not really like an interrogation, it's more like an interview. If you want to see the full interview, click the link in the description. It is premiering on Facebook, and it should be at the website in moments. It's really uploading now, so if you don't see it now, it'll be there in a couple of minutes. But I want y'all to check out what he says in this interview, things that you never heard during the George Floyd execution. With that being said, what you heard and saw was the content. For additional content, click the link in the description. Like, follow, share, subscribe, comment, hit the bell, visit my community wall, and if you have time, go to www.amore-eka.com/TV. That's our Planet of the Fakes too. We are the new umbrella, Planet
of the Fakes for Families and Pigstar HH News. Disclaimer. For awareness and educational purposes only. New George Floyd leaked bodycam footage changes whole story. Outline. He resisted to comply with police instruction. He resisted arrest for 8 minutes. He kept on lying. He was high on drugs and lied about it. Cried wolf on everything. Cop assumed he was also lying when he said he couldn't breathe. It's amazing to see how people would just easily burn everything down and spew hateful narratives because of what they know in half. When everything has been burned to the ground and the gap between races has already been drawn, the whole truth when revealed has no value anymore. Surprise of the century. Bodycam footage subverts ludicrous narrative / feral mob hysterics. Cops did nothing wrong. Kudos to Dreyer for an unusually viral article. That bodycam footage dramatically changes what we thought we knew about this story. George Floyd did not just resist arrest. He spent at least 8 minutes gasping and shrieking and carrying on like a lunatic, all the while refusing frequent, entirely legitimate orders by police. I had been under the impression that they had brutalized him from the beginning, throwing Floyd to the ground and kneeing him in the neck. That's not remotely what happened. What happened is that these police officers gave Floyd chance after chance to obey. He was high on fentanyl and meth, though he denied twice that he was on anything, but his behavior was completely bizarre. Was it because he was high? Maybe. It might also be because he had 4 previous criminal convictions, and had done a prison stint for assault and robbery. What brought the cops in Minneapolis out that afternoon was that he was attempting to pass counterfeit bills in a local store. Floyd must have known that given his criminal record, he was going to be in a world of trouble over the fake currency. The knee in their neck procedure was only deployed by a cop after Floyd's repeated refusal to comply with police orders, simply to get into the police car. One can certainly argue about whether or not the neck restraint is wise and proper, but one cannot argue with the fact that it was permitted under Minneapolis police procedure. A neck restraint is listed as a non-deadly force option in the Minneapolis Police Department Policy and Procedure Manual, according to the police. The new bodycam video shows that Floyd had been actively resisting arrest for at least 8 minutes. If George Floyd at any point in that 8 minutes had simply obeyed the police's lawful, legitimate orders, he would be alive today. After watching that video, it is easy to see why Officer Derek Chauvin applied the neck restraint to him. And it is easy to understand why Chauvin believed Floyd was lying when he said, "I can't breathe." Floyd had been standing on the street yelling over and over that he couldn't breathe as a way to convince the officers not to make him get into the back of the car. Autopsy revealed George Floyd died of cardiopulmonary arrest complicating law enforcement subdual, restraint and neck compression. Which means whatever drugs he has been taking has already caused him trouble breathing. And police will have no reason to believe this because he lied about taking any drugs. Thus, out of the 270 plus times Minnesota police officers have used the non-lethal knee and neck procedure to several criminal suspects since 2015, only George Floyd died. This commentary is irrelevant. This new video is irrelevant. The damage has been done, the narratives were successfully carried out, and people acted out of their emotions again. Source: the Imperial Patriarch. Thank you very, very, very much. Go to www.ammer-
Thanks a lot. All right. Water's free if you need it. Okay. I guess just for purposes of the record, I'm just going to kind of do a little introduction here about just naming everybody that's here. But I want to make sure I have your name correct. Is it Tou? Is that how you pronounce your first name?
That's correct.
T-O-U?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a middle name?
I do not.
And Thao. Do I have that right? T-H-A-O?
Correct.
Can I get a birth date from you, sir?
1286.
1286. All right. How about an address?
Can I ask you about that? What address do you want him to give? We've had information that there may be threats, so I don't want to have his address become a public record.
Okay. What about phone? Same?
Yeah.
Okay. No worries.
You guys want you can use my office address, the MPD.
Okay.
I know he's no longer employed there, but I don't want to do anything to put him in danger.
I totally understand. All I can do is ask, so
Okay.
I'll respect that. That's fine. So today's date is June 2nd, 2020. The time is 15:05. The BCA case number is 2020-338. This is Special Agent Brent Peterson with Special Agent James Ryerson, FBI Special Agent Blake Hostetter, and we're here with Tou Thao and his attorney, Mr. Robert Pauly. All right. So before we started here, I presented you with that form, the investigative warning form. You had an opportunity to review that?
Yes.
Discuss that prior with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
All right. So is it your understanding that you're here voluntarily?
Yes.
You realize you're not under arrest, not going to be arrested?
I do understand.
Okay. So everything that we're going to talk about here is on a voluntary basis. Bob, anything you want to add before we kind of get into it, or?
I don't have anything specific to add, thank you.
Okay, great. All right. Well, if it's okay with you, I'd just like to kind of start and ask some questions. We usually just kind of start with some background information, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay. I guess just, can you tell me, like, what level of education you have after high school?
Associate's Art in Law Enforcement from Northampton Community College.
Okay, and when did you get your associate's degree? What year, I guess?
Roughly probably 2008.
2008, okay. And then prior to becoming a police officer in Minneapolis, what did you do for a living?
I did security.
Where at?
I believe Wayland Security was the last one.
Is that here in the Twin Cities?
Correct.
Okay. What year did you get hired by Minneapolis Police?
I believe 2008 was when I got hired as a community service officer.
Okay, and can you just explain what a community service officer is for the city of Minneapolis?
It's kind of a recruitment mechanism to kind of recruit folks from different backgrounds, and I applied and got accepted in. Pretty much is kind of they pay for our education and prep us for the police academy.
Okay, so is that a sworn, licensed position as a community service officer? Okay, and how long were you in that position?
Roughly a year and a half.
Year and a half? Okay, and this would have been 08 until about 09 or so?
Yep.
Okay. Do you have any prior military experience?
No.
Were you ever a police officer anywhere else other than the city of Minneapolis?
No.
Okay. So after the CSO or community service officer position, what's the next, I guess, step or progression to becoming a police officer?
The community service officer gets, they pass and get licensed, they get, and then they get promoted to a recruit officer.
Okay.
Attend the police academy.
Roughly, do you remember when you started the recruit academy?
I'd say close 2009.
2009? Okay, and how long is the recruit academy?
About 4 to 6 months.
4 to 6 months. Okay.
Or
And
offhand.
no, that just rough estimate's fine. So what's kind of the day-to-day at the academy? Like, what do you do at the academy? What do you learn at the academy?
Pretty much just you kind of get the tools to learn to become a police officer.
Okay.
Learn policy and skills that will eventually be used into the street.
Like, what are some examples of some things that you would learn at the academy?
Policy, defensive tactics, scenario-based training.
Firearms. Okay. Is there a component of the academy that's like scenario-based learning?
Yes.
Did you ever have any formal training at the academy, or even maybe after the academy, in crisis intervention or de-escalation techniques or anything like that?
Yes, the police department at some point had sent the whole department through a crisis intervention training.
Okay. Do you recall how lengthy of a training that was?
I believe it was a week.
It was a 40-hour or a week long, and you successfully completed that?
Yes, sir.
Do you approximately know what year that was?
I do not recall offhand.
Was it after the police academy?
It was...
Or during the academy?
I believe they have a little part, the CIT training.
Yep.
But most of my, I guess most of the intensive training occurred at, I don't know, maybe the 5-year mark of my career.
Okay. Okay.
Just roughly.
All right. So you were already on the job on the street, and you went through that. Was that a voluntary thing, or did they send?
It was a mandatory thing.
Mandatory thing. Okay. And you, just so I'm clear, you did successfully complete that?
Yes.
Okay. And when you say CIT, we're talking about crisis intervention training?
Correct. Okay.
We'll come back to that a little bit. So in the academy, are you taught like first aid and CPR and things like that?
Yes.
What's like the highest, or what level are you at as far as medical training?
Pretty much it's just first aid, and then refreshers.
Okay.
Every few years.
So
first aid.
Okay, so basic like CPR, first aid. You're not like an EMT or higher than that.
No.
Okay. And is that something that they train you in the academy and then you refresh every so often?
Correct.
Is that a yearly refresher?
I want to say it's bi-yearly.
Okay.
I don't remember offhand.
Okay, understood. So after the academy period ends, what's kind of the next step in your training?
You go through field training officer school.
Okay. And is the abbreviation for that FTO?
Correct.
Okay. Approximately how long is that process for you?
I believe it's like 6 months process.
So you have 4 to 6 months in the training academy, and then another 4 to 6, or another approximate 6 months.
Roughly,
yep. And then just kind of generally, kind of high level, what do you do in FTO training? How does that work?
Pretty much you kind of follow a mentor officer, experienced officer.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of just teach you the ropes of being a police officer in the railroad.
Is it the same training officer through the entire process, or do you?
No.
How do they mix that up?
I believe every month you cycle through different training officers.
Okay. So are you in different parts of the city and different shifts and things like that, or do you kind of just stay on the same?
I believe you're assigned to a precinct for first a few months, and then you get reassigned to a different precinct for different exposures. So
during your FTO process, what precincts were you assigned?
I was assigned 4th, 1st, and also 3rd.
4th, 1st, and 3rd. Okay, so 4th precinct is what part of the city then?
North Minneapolis.
1st is what?
Downtown.
Downtown area, and then 3rd is South Minneapolis. Okay. Did you successfully complete your FTO training, or did you have to get kind of extra training, or?
I did get extra training.
Like an extension, I think they call it.
Correct.
Okay. And how long of an extension was it?
I don't recall offhand. Maybe like a month or or less.
Okay. Obviously, you successfully completed it. When you are going through FTO training, are you a fully licensed police officer at that time?
Yes.
Okay. So, what was your most current role with the police department? What precinct were you out of?
The 3rd precinct, and patrol officer, responsible for 911 response.
Okay. What shift were you working?
Middle watch.
What are those hours?
4 to 2 a.m. in the morning.
4 to 2 a.m. Okay. And did you have a specific district that you were assigned?
Yes, the Sector 3.
Sector 3. Can you just, what are the borders of, or what's the area that's Sector 3?
Border is, the east border is Hiawatha, the south border is Highway 62, the west border is 35W, and the north border is 42nd Street East.
Okay. Is that a fairly busy area of the city?
I would say it's more a quieter area.
Of the precinct, I should say. Okay. It's a little quieter area?
Correct.
All right. So, are you confined to that district, or are you allowed to kind of go up throughout the precinct?
We're not necessarily confined to the district. We're just assigned to take calls specifically to that district and patrol that area, but we're not necessarily mandated to.
So, I mean, the incident we're going to talk about here that happened on the 25th, that happened in the area of 38th in Chicago. Would that be outside of your normal patrol district?
Yes.
Is it common, though, to respond as a backup or assist other officers in other parts of the precinct?
That's correct.
Okay. Go ahead. Did you have any additional responsibilities with the police department? Any specialty assignments, or were you yourself a field training officer? Or anything like that?
No specific specialized training.
Okay. All right. What about a patrol partner? Did you typically have a partner?
Whoever's assigned to, we're all assigned different squads. Pretty much, there's 4, 5 to 6 people that may be assigned to it, and based on who's working that day, it's whoever's on your squad.
Okay.
You're assigned to work with.
Did it tend to work out that you'd be with 1 or 2 officers generally all the time, or did you constantly have different partners?
I would say the middle. Since I went to middle watch, I've gone through several different officers.
Okay. Okay. So on the 25th, what we're here to talk about, did you have a partner that day?
Yes.
Who was that?
Officer Chauvin.
Had you worked with Officer Chauvin previous to that day?
Yes.
Okay. Have you known him for a while?
When I went to 3rd precinct middle watch, that's when I first met him. And
when did you go to 3rd precinct middle watch?
Went from dog watch to middle watch.
Okay.
So I'd say roughly 3 years ago was when I transitioned over.
So you've been on middle watch for about 3 years?
Correct.
Okay. And so you've known Officer Chauvin for about that amount of time?
Yes.
And were you in a regular, semi-regular partnership with him at times?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know him outside of work?
We don't really talk outside of work. I don't really talk much outside.
Don't socialize
Too much.
Okay. Is he related to you in any way?
No.
No.
Okay. His wife is not related to me, so that's what you're asking.
We're hearing these rumors,
Yes.
and I wanted to just figure if that's true. It's not true. Okay. As a patrol officer in the 3rd precinct, middle watch, do you wear a uniform?
Yes.
Do you drive a marked squad car?
I do.
Okay. Can you just describe for us kind of what your uniform looks like, your kind of day-to-day uniform that you would wear?
Navy pants, sky blue shirt, outer sky blue vest, and pretty much your standard police equipment.
So, as far as the standard police equipment, you're referring to your belt?
Yep, belt.
Can you just walk us around what you carry in your belt?
On my right side is my handgun. On my stomach right side here, it's my mace. My left side quadrant here is my magazine. I have also a handcuff right here as well next to my gun. And then another pair of handcuffs my back left side, along with my radio and flashlight. And
What up, y'all? Planet of the Fakes, King of Content. Thank you for looking at my video. And also, I need y'all to basically follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is it ain't even POTF. It's just planet_of_the fakes. Planet_of_the fakes. Subscribe to all my channels too. Mainly Planet of the Fakes, Umbrella Corp, POTFS, Planet of the Fakes Women Group, Planet of the Fakes 4KDZ, and make sure you like us on Facebook. Just put POTFS Global News. Thanks for watching our video, and definitely make sure you visit www.amor-chica.com/TV, and that's basically where you see thousands of videos on our website, unflaggable, uncopyrightable. You could be there too. Just get your content together. King of Content, Queens of Content, Planet of the Fakes 2. We are a platform. With that being said, what you heard and saw was the content. For additional content, click the link in the description. Like, follow, share, subscribe, comment, hit the bell, visit my community wall, and if you have time, go to www.amor-chica.com/TV. That's our Planet of the Fakes 2. We are the new umbrella, Planet of. And I wanted to bring some things to your attention. Oh, you know I'm going to follow that. You know I'm going to follow that. I'm going to follow that. Oh, I'm definitely going to follow that. I'm following that. I'm following that. Following that. Skip, 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 skip. Skip, 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 skip. Oh, I'm following that. 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 Oh, I'm following that. I'm following